You know how frustrating this is, right? You got lucid, finally. And then before you can do anything, the dream just ends. This is the most common problem that lucid dreamers face, but the great news is that there's an easy, practical way to address it. And I call it building a lucidity bridge. When you build a lucidity bridge, and the bridge is a set of techniques that you implement the minute you get lucid, this bridge will help scaffold you from a non-lucid state and cross you successfully over into a fully lucid, fully stabilized dream. And from that place, you can do anything you want. How? I'm going to give you my exact personal lucidity bridge at the end, but first I want to teach you the different components so that you can customize and adapt a lucidity bridge that really suits you personally. There's two aspects to building a lucidity bridge. One is the stabilization of the dream, and the other is the stabilization of self. Now, in reality, these are not separate. The dream and the self are the same thing. You're working with your own mind. But for the purposes of being practical and making a teaching distinction, I'm going to talk about them today like they're separate. And let's start with the stabilization of the dream. This is what really helps to stop you kind of from waking up out of a dream or having really, really short lucid dreams. And what you're doing in these practices is essentially helping your mind, your conscious mind, the part that's just come back online, to ground into the dream and see the dream as what is real. Now, to do this, we can use several different techniques. Anything that works with the dream body. So you can do like squeezing of the dream body or like slapping of the dream body. This helps your mind to go, I'm here. You almost want it to know that this is the body we're working with and not to go back to the physical body. We can also work with sight. So really, again, getting the conscious waking up mind to engage with the lucid dream. You can do this by really looking at things, taking a time, look. By moving the eyes as well, it seems to help to stabilize the dream. So really looking and engaging with things. Another technique is the eyes open and spin. Super important, eyes must be open. If you close your eyes, you'll often end the dream or spin to something else. So eyes open allows, again, all that visual data to come back into your mind. And then your mind's like, okay, cool, this is the reality we're working with. So when you're using these kinds of dream stabilization, it's really about helping the dream to sort of thicken and stabilize so you can do something in it. Another one you can try, I'm curious if anyone out there has actually tried this apart from me, is to just ask for help. You can just so stabilization please, or more lucidity please. And I found that the dream responds really well. Sometimes things will go into like high definition, or just the feeling of the dream will settle. But if you find that you're waking up quick, stabilization of the dream is going to be mostly what you work with. And you can kind of see this again as like a grounding into the reality of the dream. So that's one aspect. Now the next aspect is equally as important. But quickly, before I do that, if you want to stay in touch and keep up with these trainings, please make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. And now the second aspect is the stabilization of self. And by self here, I really mean the conscious mind that is coming back online, right? When they put people in the fMRI scanners to see like what happens when you get lucid, they found there's like certain parts of the brain that are normally sleeping when you're in a non-lucid dream. It's like the right dorsal lateral prefrontal cortex, that actually comes back online within seconds. They see it, boom, light up. So lucid dreaming is a very unique hybrid brain state. Parts of your brain that normally don't coexist at the same time are coming back online. So as you can imagine, if your brain is adjusting to the state, it could take a second. And so stabilizing the self is all about helping that part of your mind, really come online, really activate, so you can be inside the dreaming mind, fully aware of who you are and where you are, and then be able to, have more conscious collaborative control. So to do this, I have shared this before, but it always cracks me up. You're going to want to just do basic things like call out your name. Say that you're in a lucid dream. I do biographical facts, so I'll repeat the names of my pets, I'll repeat my address, my phone number. It's like it's giving this part of the brain a chance to like, oh yeah, that's who I am, that's where I am. Just giving it a second to come back online and strengthening it by using it. So that's one way to do it. The key here is to think of this as brightening. If stabilization of the dream is grounding, stabilization of self is brightening, coming back online, keeping that lucidity sharp. Those practices are going to be important if you find that you get lucid, but then you lose your lucidity, like you get sucked back into the dream. And you can kind of see these as dials, right? Like, so if you're kind of losing the stability of the dream is fading or wobbling, do some of those practices, the grounding practices, especially doing the spinning. if you're finding that you're losing lucidity, now's a good time to do some state checks, right? Go back to your state checks, start saying the biographical information, activate your lucidity again. And by the way, if you would like more personalized help with this, I do offer one-to-one training, and with my clients I build a customized training schedule and I become your daily dream accountability buddy too. So if you're looking for something that can support you, please feel free to apply in the links below. In the meantime, here is my exact personal lucidity bridge. So first I get lucid, and the second I get lucid, I just start to calmly walk through the dream. As I'm walking, I'll rub my arms. So I'll just do some squeezing, sometimes some hitting, just getting into my dream body. I'll kind of make a point to look around at things, really bringing my attention into the dream to make sure it's stable and that my mind is staying engaged. At this point, I'll also start saying my name out loud. So I'll be like, I'm Mia. I live in Nosara, Costa Rica. I have 3 cats. I have 1 dog. I'll start saying my phone number, my address, whatever it is to kind of help that self part wake up. And then that's like 5 to 10 seconds. You don't have to do this for a long time, and you'll start to get a sense for when, okay, I'm feeling really clear, I'm feeling really lucid, and the dream feels really nice and stable. And stable just means it feels a bit like waking state, right? Everything's kind of like, And that's the place you want to be able to do your dream missions from, a good, solid, stabilized, lucid dream. Now, if at any point I find that the dream is wobbling, my go-to is the eyes open and the spin. I feel like that's a really good emergency response technique, and the dream will often sort of stabilize. But if you do find that your dream is still collapsing, make sure you watch my video on how to do lucid dream surfing. Because the cool thing is your lucidity doesn't have to end just because the dream does. And if you learn how to surf between the dreams, then even when one dream collapses, you can ride and surf right into the other one.